Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snowfell Charm School, which is a temple of Aphrodite. I will be your host and oracle, Evangeline, or I'm Evangeline. I'll be your host and oracle. I'm still working on the intro. Um, here we, I want to give a disclaimer for those of you who reside in the romantic resistant category of my 12 personality type system. Um, and that those of well, I do want to give a warning disclaimer or something like that. Due to the personality, I can't predict you actually heeding to that personality, um, or not that personality, heeding to that warning. But if by chance you do, if you are on the narcissistic personality type, the obsessive personality type, or the antisocial personality type, these readings can be quite triggering for you, um, and can result in a lot of different types of warnings that, if unheeded, can lead to disastrous events. Okay, I just want to be as fair as possible about it. Um, yeah, I'm gonna jump right into it. As I start shuffling the cards, I'll talk a little bit more about my 12 type personality system. Um, I developed the system based off of the Big Five personality assessment, as well as the DSM-5 personality disorders. I do consider my personality types as spectrums, so you can be completely unaligned, and therefore you will get the classic disorder, but you can also be completely aligned, and therefore you have a well adjusted personality, basically. Um, the our 12 personality types are separated into 4 groups. I did mention 2 of them already, but the first one is going to be romantic desperate. That's going to include dependent personality spectrum, avoidant personality spectrum, and repressed personality spectrum. If you have been following videos, repressed it was referred to as stable personality spectrum, but I think repressed describes it better. Since they're all kind of named after the disorder and not after the alignment. All of these personalities in perfect alignment will be perceived as being like stable or beneficial or prosperous in some way or another. The second group is going to be unromantic, and that's going to consist of paranoid, schizoid, and schizotypal. The third group is going to be romantic resistant. I said that before. That's going to be narcissistic, antisocial, and obsessive. And the last group is going to be romantic, and that consists of borderline, histrionic, and distracted. I used to refer to this as social, but I think it's better to describe them all based off their kind of like worst senses. I might change them all into like more positive notions. There might be a neutral one. I could do both, like a positive and neutral, like state like oppressed, stable personality spectrum, or I think that's actually better. And then that's for the romantic desperate, and for the romantic, the example would be distracted, social. So yeah, on one side you'll be really distracted, on the other side you'll be really social, or like, that's how you'll be perceived. I have realized that personality is a lot about the interactions that you're in. They exacerbate or diminish symptoms of having these personalities. Everyone has personalities, so everyone has symptoms. These are things that are, I do believe that personality is something of a processing coping mechanism, or a coping mechanism that has to do with how you interact with things. And that can change depending on the environment. So you can be in a very beneficial environment, and it will definitely change how aligned you are or how disaligned you are. Um, and so it can be perceived a little bit like it can be perceived more like a disorder or not like a disorder, or it can be perceived more like one personality type as opposed to another personality type. um, how I determine which personality type is which is assessing levels of extroversion and agreeability. There are other traits to personality that could be considered, and I'm working on a system in order to incorporate them. But it does get rather complicated. But it's the other aspects that I'm working to contribute. Again, you can look at the Big Five personality assessment; is readily available on the internet. But it does seem like it's more of like how you. It's more, the other two seem to be more about how you process information, as opposed to how you interact with other people. And this is my focus on agreeability and extroversion. Um, Extroversion and agreeability, I try to come up with as many synonyms to go with that so you get a better understanding, especially with extroversion. I think extroversion kind of, I think people simplify extroversion and how often you go out, but it's really how confident you are in being seen. Um, so you can call yourself an introvert. Look at that, the hermit card. You can call yourself an introvert and be high in extroversion. You can call yourself that because you do not go out, and that could be just a reflection of your environment, not a reflection on you. Um, this has to do with how you're being seen, your confident level, or the willingness to kind of like promote yourself, stand up for yourself, to be something, like to be your own individual. And so I guess an agreeability is not so much like I think that some people simplify agreeability as like kind of like just doing what other people say, but it's more about how willing you are to accept other people being who they are. So the combination of those things can get into you being a very nice person, or it can get into you being a very like almost like hands off type of approach. I'll go through the groups really quickly. The romantic desperate are going to be hot. Like you're going to be low in extroversion and high in agreeability, and we can see this because they have the dependent are an easy one to see. They're willing to sacrifice lots of themselves in order to make someone else feel like a complete person. An avoidant will also do something very similar where they separate parts of themselves. So sometimes they're seen, or there's like a almost like a time and a place to be seen. Like you can't be a whole person. Half of you has to be over here, and half of you has to be over here. That's the example of a low extroversion. Um, and repressed, again, same thing. It's very much like I'm willing to quiet myself so that you can be louder. Again, low extroversion, high agreeability. This is all to promote, to make other people comfortable. Avoidant people do this. Sometimes I think that people think avoidant people have two separate lives in order to like for selfish reasons, but the thought process, it seems to be, is to not ruffle the feathers of other people, not to make other people uncomfortable, or that them displaying all of themselves would be an inconvenience to somebody. The unromantic group is going to be low in extroversion and low in agreeability. With a paranoia or the paranoid personality spectrum, that is going to be that's wanting to hide and wanting not and that's wanting to hide the extroversion, wanting to be away from other people, wanting to be away from society because it's dangerous, and willing to do whatever it is they need to do to protect themselves. That's low agreeability. With a schizoid, it's the same thing, wanting to hide, low extroversion, and not wanting anyone to be too close or being superficial with them, because they cannot. It's not safe to. It's not safe to understand them. It's not safe to like, the schizoid individual will tend to profile people, and usually negatively. So they know what to hide from that person. Um, yeah, and what to show. All very facade type of thing. Not necessarily not necessarily offensive in the way that it does it. Like, it's not an attack on you, it's a defense mechanism. And with the schizoid, very similar, wanting to be on the outskirts looking in, and not being agreeable or having low agreeability is going to show in that there's something afoot, there's something wrong with everybody. Everyone needs to stop doing what they're doing because it's bad for something or some other thing or whatever. Very conspiracy theory, if you will. The romantic resistant, and this is where we get into a little bit more of the offense of things. This is where the individual is high in extroversion and low in low in agreeability. So this is going to be like, for the narcissist, is going to be wanting to be seen and shown and viewed as successful, but not allowing other people to be seen as successful. So this is a lot of shaming, humiliation, disregarding, things like that. Also, manipulation, emotional manipulation in order to control how that person feels. Like, it's a very control type of energy. Very similar to antisocial and obsessive, but we'll get to obsessive. The antisocial will, let me shuffle this one more time. Sorry, I'm getting really distracted. The antisocial wants to be loud and known, something like in your face. They want to be in your face, but they want you to get smaller while they do that. This is why it can be very aggressive, very violent type of energy. They do not want you to stand tall because they need to be the tallest one. It makes them feel safe. And a lot of personalities is in some form or another to make you feel safe with what's going on. And for the obsessive is going to be rather similar. They want to be successful, especially as far as a checklist goes. Like, if someone wrote down their life, they want to be able to be like, yeah, I did that, yeah, I did that, yeah, I did that. But they don't see opportunities to support other people in order to have that. They are the ones who want it. Anyone else around them is just is a stepping stone to get there. And for the romantic, the romantic group is going to be high in extroversion and agreeability. So for the borderline, this is going to be someone who wants to be, who is okay with being seen, and recognized. Like, they kind of strive on being recognized. Like, all of them, all the ones in this category strive on being recognized, and they want to support other people. That's the agreeable part. Being recognized is extroversion. Helping other people be recognized is agreeability. Borderline will do this. Just like that. And histrionic will do something very similar, where they're very like, they want to be recognized, very, very noticeable, very attention-seeking, and also at the same time, they can be very complimentary and flattering, very not afraid to be like, girl, you did it, that type of energy. And social, again, very similar. They like to be seen, like to be known, like to interact with multiple people, and they'll also be very communicative and understanding. They'll be very like, oh yeah, so-and-so did this, and they'll talk to that same person, like, yeah, I told so-and-so that you did this, and you did this. They're very like, they recognize and like being recognized. That's probably the best way I could say it, without being too redundant. So yeah. Was there anything else I wanted to say? I try to make the system as simple as possible. As you start thinking about things and moving through the world, interacting with other people, and kind of keeping a note of how similar some people are to other people, you'll start being able to compare the personalities to other personalities, and that'll give you a bit more clarity on where someone is in this 12 type personality spectrum. Now, I did make this 12 type personality system as a form of radical acceptance of the personalities. These are all energies that exist in the world, and they need to exist in the world. We can't get rid of extroversion, and we can't get rid of agreeability. So we have to accept how they interact with each other. Um, Also, when you're getting advice from me or anybody else, it is from the viewpoint of that perspective. It is difficult to explain your perspective to someone who does not share a similar perspective. This is why relationships can be rather difficult, especially when you're trying to explain yourself or your actions to someone else. It can be difficult because they don't know what you know. They don't have an idea of, they don't have their same experiences, they don't have your same ambitions, they don't have your same goals. So we need to respect that in order to live like harmonious with other people. Although I have to say that wanting to live harmonious with other people is part of a personality type, and that some personality types do not wish to do such a thing. That is something that we need to respect, and we need to be prepared for. We need to know how to address it. We need to know what we're going to do about that. We need to know how to press on with the rest of our lives if this is the case. So, I guess something that could good to think about if you watch this video is to think about how am I going to continue the rest of my life knowing that there's likely no such thing as like a world peace or a perfect community or perfect family group. But when it becomes more than one person, it becomes exceptionally when it becomes more than two, like when it becomes more than one person, it becomes complicated. When it becomes more than two people, it becomes exceptionally complicated. That's why the saying "three is a crowd" is a saying, because it's one thing to know how your personality type reacts to another personality type. It's another thing to understand how your personality type reacts to a personality type that's reacting to another personality type that's reacting to your personality type, and then the other way around. Very, very complicated. This is why you can have family members that you get along with and family members you don't get along with, but it's all still a family. I think I want one more card. I got 3. That's fine. Let's do you here, and you here. That seems right. And yeah, what else do I want to say? I had a whole thing about dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin. These are the 3 chemicals needed in order to provide a soulmate type of energy or relationship. So it's important to understand how your particular personality type processes these chemicals, how they promote them, or how they, in yourself, how it is that you get them, or how it is that you give that chemical, how it is that you promote that chemical in other people. This is rather crucial to understand if it is that you are looking for a soulmate type of relationship. Here at the Temple of Aphrodite, we try to do very much that. This isn't like this isn't a channel in which we discuss like how to get married or like what's it called, like when you hold down somebody. Like this isn't like how to date successfully in the sense of like a status. This is how to date successfully as in a feeling. Okay, this is how to feel like your relationship is a good relationship. You need serotonin first of all. That's the basis for any friendly interaction. Um, you also need, if you don't know, serotonin is what helps you eat and sleep comfortably. It's a comfort chemical. Dopamine is your sexual chemical, and then oxytocin is your bonding chemical. Um, where dopamine can be excitement, sexuality, danger, things like that. Oxytocin is bonding. It's probably the best way to describe it. It's this almost like commitment level. Doesn't necessarily mean that you'll get married with that type of energy, especially if it's in a platonic situation. You can have oxytocin in a platonic relationship. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something about that, but yeah. Dopamine. Whenever I talk about dopamine, I might also refer to Aphrodite Pandemonia, and then whenever I talk about oxytocin, I might also talk about Aphrodite Urania. These are the two aspects of Aphrodite that are expressed in Greek mythology. This is why she's the goddess of sex for dopamine. She's the goddess of love for oxytocin, and she's also the goddess of joy for serotonin. And I believe that serotonin, as far as Aphrodite goes, is going to be her balanced self, or her neutral self, or her natural self, her like neutral self, serotonin. So yeah, I'm gonna grab some water. I'm already talking a lot. Okay, we're gonna get straight into it. We have I'm gonna say that how we do this kind of like role play. This is a role play thing. We are here at the temple. I'm the head oracle and you're also oracles, so we're working together, right? I just run the temple. I basically just make sure that it looks nice. So every once in a while we have visitors to come to the temple, and usually they ask us for advice to get in contact with the divine and to provide a messaging or some type of guidance for them for whatever it is that they're looking to do. Our visitor today, that's the best way to say it. Our visitor today is going to be represented by the Ace of Pentacles. The reason why they are here is because it's going to be represented by the Eight of Wands. Now we can assume that they're here in some type of rush, urgency, something's happening fast. It's almost like, help me, please help. And as oracles, all we can do is help by giving advice. What it is that you need to do, or what's the problem, and we'll see if we can figure out a game plan for you. Like I said before, our visitor is the Ace of Pentacles, so this is a very successful or established individual. All right, so consider it like if we're at the temple and then we live in the city, we have a king for the city, I guess, or a mayor or whatever it is. I'm trying to be. I want us to go into like ancient Greek times. All right. So likely there's going to be a king, and the kings. This is going to be king or some type of nobleman, whatever. They came here with an emergency. Help! I need some help. And so first, as oracles, what we do is we ask a little bit about their background. So can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Like, how did you grow up and stuff like that? And then, I'm going to hold it like this just so you can see it, but this is supposed to be under the Ace of Pentacles. It's just that the two down here are a little underdressed. So they're saying, the king or nobleman or whatever, this established individual is saying, "Help, help! I need help. When I was younger, I don't know, some type of dark forces where I grew up in like a hard life, maybe like some childhood abuse or something like that, or you came from a very indulgent family or environment." And okay, so after that we ask, okay, so what is it that you're trying to do? What's the goal here? And it's going to be represented by the Five of Cups, and they are saying like, I lost something, help, help, I lost something, help, help, I lost something. Maybe for this particular instance, since we have the Devil card, they're looking for like, I lost I don't know, because ancient Greek, so we're gonna be really spiritual about it. And it was like, I lost a cursed amulet that was I was supposed to hold on to it, or terrible things would happen. It's to keep to my success or something like that, right? Sorry, got it. If you're an Oracle Aphrodite, you also have to look good, so sometimes you gotta do a little maintenance while you're talking. Anywho. So okay, so we're like, okay, so what options do we have here? What are we thinking? What are we thinking here? Like, as oracles, we ask a lot of questions. You would think that we would just give a lot of answers, but no, we ask a lot of questions. If you didn't already know. They tell us that on one side, they lost something, so they're thinking about going to get it, first of all, with the Six of Swords, and in the hopes that they would be successful in finding it, whatever it is that they lost. They're hoping to go get something and come back triumphantly, right? So I'm like, okay, what's the other option? We're just gonna ask what the other option is. And the other option is that they stay where they are to manage whatever kingdom it is that they need to manage, and then they send someone else to get it. This is kind of fun. I haven't done it like this. So they're either thinking about getting it themselves, and maybe having like a whole parade of, you know, escorts to accompany them while they go on this what seems like treacherous journey, or possibly treacherous journey, or they'll stay there and send a noble hero in order to achieve what it is that is lost. And so they're asking us, which one should they do? And I, as an oracle, I would say, okay, what's the problem with the first option? What's the problem with you going there, going wherever it is and looking for this thing? And the problem seems like, or the obstacle, I guess the main obstacle, is that they would gladly do it, but they don't know where to go. Okay, great. Good to know. You don't know where to go. Also, I'm gonna say, well, we'll move on to the other side. Okay, so what's the issue with option number two? You don't know which way to go. That makes sense. You might be asking us for that. And so what's the problem with having a hero go out there and look for it? They won't know where to go, obviously, but they'll be able to spend more time there to find it, as what I'm thinking. And the reason why it might be a problem for them to find a hero to do it is that, again, it will be a long journey, and there's not a lot of volunteers that are willing to do it. That's what it seems like. It's giving a little bit like, my men are modest and not skilled at adventuring. It's almost like they're a king of the more like agriculture or like maintenance type of energy. So I don't think the third problem is, I don't think I have a I don't think that I have a worthy hero to search for this. And so, okay, so we'll go back to so you don't know where to go. You gladly do what you don't know where to go. You think you're worthy with the Sun card, and our visitor thinks they're worthy enough to go find it. What I guess we can ask, okay, if you had to do that, what would you do? If you had to do option one, what would you do? And we have the Elder of we have the Elder of Wands. So this is going, so their option there is that they are going to, they're going to be really strategic about it. They're going to do lots of, um, they're going to execute a plan. They're going to come up with a plan. If they don't know where to go, they'll start mapping places of where it could be. They might send, with especially with the Six of Wands, they might send a particular troop to go one way, another group to go another way, and then them to go this way. Okay. Um, And I'm like, okay, well, if you had to choose number two, what would you do? And with the Justice card, they would assign someone maybe by lottery, or it's also giving me like almost like a suit. Oh, I don't know if I can say that. Unaliving squad. Um, I mean, it probably, you could probably say that on YouTube. I'm not sure. I'm not long. I haven't been on here long enough to know what I can and cannot say, but they'll say I'll have to just designate someone to go. But again, they're like, hurry up, quick. I don't know, like, it's an emergency. I don't know which one to do. And this is when we start giving some answers. I'm gonna pull this deck, and we're gonna start giving some answers for these options. Okay, we'll put that here. Put this one here. Oops. Put this one here. I need to put something to catch these cards as they fall, so that I don't have to keep bending over. And we'll take this one. We'll do this. And then the last. Okay, so as an oracle, I'm going to give options for both options, right? Or I'm going to give advice for both options. The overall advice I'm going to give is to take a deep breath. You're not going to be able to find it in this state of cortisol. You're not going to be able to find it. And this is all romance, because we do it. You came to Aphrodite for oracle advice, so you lost someone. Someone is gone. And I would say, okay, well, relax. Yeah, take a deep breath. We need to be working in the energy of serotonin. So I'm gonna need you to lower your cortisol levels. First of all, you need to lower your cortisol levels. So I think I'm going to start with option one, and it's going to say advice for that. I think that it's wise for you to go, for you to find it. It's a loved one, so it's going to be really wise for you to find this person. And then we also have the Three of Wands as advice, which is interesting because we also have that again. It appeared again, and that is going to be, I would say, as far as my advice go, look in the last place. I don't know why I'm saying this, but look in the last place that you would think to look. You know, like kind of like think outside of the box. Like, where wouldn't they be? And maybe that's a way to like narrow down some places to look. Yeah, where would they go? Like, it's very much like, okay, well, you know this person so much to want this person. Like, and I guess, you know what, is as far as like, as far as the past goes, this is like, did you curse somebody with a devil card and you lost them? Because if that's true, then that changes some, that helps with the advice. If you cursed them and then you lost them, think about where they would be safe. Where would they go for, like, especially with the Six of Swords, where would they go for refuge? With the two of these, where would they go for refuge? And I would say, think about what curse you did with the devil card. Like, what type of manipulation? And it could be like, when I say curse, it doesn't have to be like, hocus pocus. It's more of like, what type of manipulation did you use? What did you use against them? What did you do to them? If I know more about what you did to them, like, well, you know what? It seems like it seems like with the Six of Swords, what you did, like I'm now getting downloads, I guess. Um, I didn't, I don't normally call them that, but I guess this would be considered like a download. But if you curse them away. Um, where is away? Yeah, I'm getting a ringing in my ear too. Where is away? And then for the last bit of advice, on option one, we have the Six of Cups, so another six. Where is away? What would be a safe place for them? Yeah, very interesting. For option one, think about where they would be safe. Especially if you're the one who pushed them away for whatever reason. If around you isn't safe, what's the opposite of you? And where would the opposite of you be? That's where they would be. For option two, if you're going to send someone out there, my Oracle download, I had to cover them up a little bit, but my Oracle download is saying that if you send someone else, that that other, like the person that you send is destined to be with that person. Whoever the download I'm getting, whoever finds them is destined to be with that person. Oh, and I usually do these as personalities. It's so funny that I got. Well, we'll do the advice, and then we'll get into a personality, and we'll talk about that. The other advice for option two, if you send someone out there, you can't tell them what they're going out there for. Yeah, this is going. If you do send someone out there, it has to be really hands off. Like they kind of have to report to you and then come back so that you can go get them. If they run into each other, they will fall in love and you will lose them forever. This is fun. This is super fun. I'm sure the guy who's it's giving guy, but it doesn't have to be. And then the last bit of advice is with the Two of Pentacles. That's giving. If you send someone, you're going to have to really, really like juggle that situation. You're going to have to, if you're going to have someone out there to find this person, or what, I don't know what we're doing here, honestly. It's getting a little bit nefarious. You're going to have to manage them and the person that you're looking for. You're going to have to keep them like on a tight leash kind of thing. My oracle senses is saying that they're going to see the value in this person that you pushed away, and they're going to claim them for their own, and it's going to be well received. Okay. I'm also getting the overall energy with the Nine of Wands. It's giving accept the loss. This is very interesting. And maybe a little bit of a personality assessment will help us with that. The devil background with the success is giving a little bit of antisocial energy, or at least in the romantic resistant group. This could be obsessive or obsessive, narcissistic, or antisocial. So this is coming in a little bit with a demand. You're demanding the oracle for your help. which changes the advice a little bit, to if you want something, you'll have to go get it. And I think their response is, well, I don't know where to go. I don't know where to look for. And look for, I would say, look in the place in which they think that they would never, like, they're running from you. So look in a place, wow, I don't know if I should be helping you find someone who's running from you, but look in a place in which they are safe from you. Where would you never go? Go there. Um, yeah. What would be kind of like the worst place for you to go? What would be resistant to you? Is there a place that you hate? They're probably there. Um, with the other option of sending someone, I feel like you would feel comfortable sending someone else, but I would say if you, I would, as an oracle, I could say just send someone else, see what happens, you know, just send someone else. Um, you know, as an oracle Aphrodite, you know. Um, I am. This is with this. It's. Hmm. I would also say return to, if you want, if you really do want to. There's lots of sixes on here, um, with a devil card too. Um, if you want this person back, then you must return to a place. You must return to a place within yourself that would, that was at one point safe for that person to be in. You must return to your state of whatever state you were in to court. You must return to that. And you must expand from there. It's like kind of retracing your steps a little bit. That's when I was saying, like, you need to go back to the place where you last saw them. And I think, that's a really fun way to put that. Where you last saw them, really saw them. Was there a time in which you really saw them? Go back to that time. Although, I would have to say that this is giving a little bit of a romantic resistant type of energy. And so I don't think that you're doing this in order to. You're not doing this for romance, you're doing it for, well, obsessive would be for some type of financial goal. For anti-social, it would be for some form of power or freedom. Freedom. And for the narcissist, it would be some type of ego. Is there status? Title? With the Ace of Pentacles, this is someone who comes from a very successful place. They have the means in order, they have lots of resources. The person that you're looking for is hiding from or resisting your resources. They might be closer than you think. They are. Yeah, there is almost like trying to grasp the air. They're in a different group than you. That's why I can see why you're considering sending someone else, because you won't be able to get to them. Someone else will have to get to them. If you look, you can only find them in your memories. Oof. Um, You are destined, you are part of their love story. You are destined to provide them with love, but not in the way that you think. Your actions, every step you take will lead to their success, and it will lead to a divine union. That will be that this is, yes, this is, you're chasing someone who is no longer in your field of view or anywhere near your grasp. It's already been set in motion with the Eight of Wands. It's already been set in motion. You've already set in motion their divine union. This union is not yours to have. As a specific personality type, I would say that this would be this could be obsessive. I'm not sure how I'm going to title this video. Yeah, this could be obsessive. I might just title it obsessive. Lots of resources and lots of like urgency for this to work out. Like a really clear idea of how it's supposed to be, but it's not supposed to be like that. If you decide to go, you'll be chasing forever. So you can consider your kingdom abandoned. If you send someone else to find them, they will find them and not return. I'm gonna say this is an obsessive personality type. This not getting what you want is going to be hard for you to hear. This is why I try to give the warnings. I try to give the warnings. Maybe I should put up a sign outside the temple. Yeah, I should. Yeah. Yeah, with the nine of wands, it's accept defeat. You have been defeated. The plans have gone awry, and there is no way to salvage this particular plan. It's probably best you send someone else, or it doesn't matter if you send anyone else. If you send someone, it will speed up the process. If you go yourself, you will lose everything you ever had. I would let it be. My general oracle advice is to just let it go. Especially since you're looking for a particular person. Now, if you came back and you were looking for love, we might have a different conversation. But I believe that is all the advice I have for you. I wish you the best on your adventures. I hope that you find exactly what it is that you deserve. I also hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did not enjoy this video, then that's perfectly understandable, and I completely it's completely understandable. I completely understand. What I meant to say was that is totally your choice, and I completely understand. I hope that you have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night. If you do not wish to have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, then that's totally your choice, and I completely understand. All right, guys. Until next time, I'll see you.